Welcome, friends and travelers, to another evening at Arkin's Juice Tavern, our forever home for tales of laughter and a little bit of the unexpected and unexplained. I am your host, Michael Jason Chandler, and tonight is a special night. Our regular companion in chaos, Torin Wolf, is still alive, but he's out of town, and he's on an adventure with a group called the Amp Guard, and so he will not be with us this evening. So it's just Pixie, myself, and the ladies. Tonight, on the Arkin's Hearth, it is Ladies' Night, and Pixie and Jason.
Yay!
So, starting to my left.
The Ginger. I apparently am now associated with croissants, so here's another episode with a croissant reference.
Yeah, that's good.
And to my left,
I'm trying not to sneeze.
But who are you?
Name.
Sneeze. No.
You know what? I will call you Sneeze.
No, it's Pixie.
Okay. And joining us for this very special episode is someone very dear and near to my heart. My beautiful, amazing, brilliant, and better than everyone else, daughter, Padge.
That is PAJ. It's nice to meet everybody.
It means the world to have her here with us here tonight. So, say something to the listeners. Introduce yourself. Say something.
I am a dumbass, and I'm sorry.
Love you.
Shut up.
Fair enough.
Jason, now you have three of us to deal with.
I know.
This is a trigger warning for everybody.
No,
I exist.
Well, there you go. Sorry, Pixie had to, play with something.
There's a crumb. I don't know where it came from.
I often refer to you as a crumb. So, tonight's format is going to be a little different. Usually, I bring a script, and my co-hosts chime in with their wit, their wisdom, and other things they do. But tonight, we're going to each take the reins. Each of us has brought a true crime story centered on different female murderers. Because it's ladies' night. Sorry. Yeah. And to make this ladies' night, and Jason and Pixie, perfect, we will each read our stories in turn. And then we'll talk about what makes these tales cool and, chilling, fascinating, tragic, maybe a little uplifting from time to time. So the question I have is, who goes first?
I vote the Pixie.
That's funny because Pixie just voted for you. Literally, as you said, I vote for Pixie. Pixie apparently forgot again that it's radio and pointed at you.
Eventually we'll have cameras.
We still have to talk to people not on YouTube.
Will you please learn that it's radio and stop waiting for camera?
I am pointing.
That's fine. I'm pointing at the Ginger because the Ginger should go first, and I hope they're embarrassed. I'm fine with that. Stop whispering to each other and pointing.
I've never whispered.
Yeah, right. I need to pee.
I never did that.
I do the editing. I know that a few episodes, I had to cut a whole thing. It took me forever to enhance the audio of what you were whispering to Ginger to get. I need to pee, so I could cut it out.
And it'll sound even clearer with these new pop filters.
Yes, wonderful pop filters. Do we need to do a shout out to where you bought it now?
That would be Amazon. Because, unfortunately, that's the cheapest place.
Okay,
so,
we're broke. I get it. Come on.
Speaking of. Yeah. Well, folks, we are a RSS supported show. If you're ever thinking about starting a podcast, please consider RSS. They have been excellent with us so far. Also, we have Patreon. Right now, we only have a $3 tier, but if you will go to patreon.com and find the Arkin's Hearth and give us $3, it'll help us, absolutely. So, I say, since we had such a good job figuring out who's going to go first.
Wait, hold on. Padge didn't vote.
Padge did not vote. So, the vote was either...
Not me.
That's not voting, that's just opting out. Fine, I vote for you. Now it's a three-way tie.
Fraggle frugal.
So you choose.
Why me?
Fine, Ginger.
Mr. Pointy? We're not on camera.
Yeah, but I didn't want people to know that I was trying to do that. But there's actually a reason I did that.
Is it because you like my story better than everyone else's?
All right, so apparently, Padge has decided with
Everyone
pointing
picked the ginger.
that the ginger will begin. So, Ginger, what can I say? But I'm going to shut up and let you take the reign.
Oh, great. Cool. Once upon a just kidding. We're not starting this way.
You could, though.
Okay, so first off, shout out to my boss if he ever gets to listen to another episode. Because he listened to our first episode, he thought it was great, but Pandora's being weird right now, so it only has one episode. Know who you are if you ever get to this episode.
YouTube has said we're on YouTube now for like a month, and we're still not.
I know, it's so dumb. I don't know what's going on.
What's going on, yeah.
YouTube!
No, I want people to watch us, but yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, so I want to preface this by saying that Jason sent us a list of all these different ideas, and I tried a different person than who I ended up covering. She was from Missouri. That is nowhere near us, if you know anything about geography. Which was not Jason's fault, but like...
I said I was sorry. I researched quickly.
It's a fun story, Jason. Nobody's going to hate on you for thinking.
Yeah, no, I was tired, and I just was like looking up female murderers, and for some reason, didn't catch that a couple of the options I offered weren't actually from the Four Corners, but that's okay.
Did you look up the Four Corners when you did? Is that when you searched? I'm wondering if there's like a Midwestern equivalent of the Four Corners.
There has to be, sort of.
That's
The
what I'm
Three
wondering.
Stooges.
The Three Jason, we can be your Three Stooges.
Hit that!
Enough procrastinating, I guess. Oh boy, I'm not ready. It's fine.
Let's do this.
Today I will be covering Ellen Snyder. If you are from New Mexico, you may have been very aware of this case. When I was researching it, apparently it was like a big deal when it was happening. I don't know if you've heard of it, Jason, have you?
I'd like to reach out to Albuquerque with an apology.
Yes?
I realize that we keep telling murder stories in Albuquerque.
I want to... This is my disclaimer. I tried so hard to find anything outside of the city of Albuquerque on short notice. But when I looked up other things, it just wasn't working. This one had the most information. For
Albuquerque, please stop killing each other so that we stop reporting about murder at Albuquerque. I mean, give each other a hug or something. Like, buy each other a cookie. Stop killing.
Well, I mean, this guy did buy her flowers, but that wasn't enough. But you'll see.
Tell me more.
Yes! Let's set the scene. So it was early 90s in Albuquerque. Only Jason was alive.
Yes, that's true.
Padge was a twinkle in Jason's eye.
That's like years before she's going to be twinkling.
We can pretend.
Okay.
The man had dreams, right? You had dreams.
I did. I always wanted to have a kid.
See?
I always wanted to have a kid.
Before she ever existed.
There you go.
All right, so in the 1990s in Albuquerque. Ellen Snyder, at this time, that was not her last name, but I forgot her maiden name already, so we're going to go with Snyder. She was a single mom working in a mechanic shop. She meets Mike Snyder. He is one of the top mechanics in Albuquerque with a six-figure income, and he is, I think, recently divorced. It didn't say it had been a long time. They were both, like, decently fresh out of bad relationships. Their friends played matchmaker, and before too long, he was bringing her flowers. They were going on dates. They hit it off fast. Like, very quickly they moved in together, and a few years later, by 1994, they were married. Mike really stepped up and became a father figure to Ellen's son. His name is Michael, so I didn't put his name in this a lot because Mike and Michael, we're going to get those mixed up. I just know myself. So, by 1994, they got married, and they started building a house. It was a huge house. I can't remember the exact acreage number.
Dimensions and stuff.
But it was really big. Big enough to eventually have a 6-car garage. So that kind of tells you how big it is.
That's crazy.
Right?
6 cars?
Who has 6 cars? And
Rich people.
Much?
well, I mean, he was making
So
6
cringe.
figures. Stop.
1 car for every figure.
Yeah.
Every figure, every body.
Anyway.
Let's stop talking about his figure and get back to the story.
Oh my goodness, Jason.
Okay, ladies. Okay.
Jason! No, for the record, this man had a mullet. So, like,
Oh my.
Ew.
yeah.
It was the 90s.
Listen, my dad had a mullet in the 90s, and I I can't. I hate it.
My
I
dad
don't
had a
like
mullet in the
mullets.
90s too.
Did you have a mullet in the 90s? Jason, you would.
I did.
It's such a dad thing to do.
Oh, I know.
It was a thing.
Do you have pictures? I'd love to see.
No, God, no. They've all been burned.
Everywhere.
I have a picture of my dad in a fanny pack.
I found a video of my dad from college on my computer. This is totally not part of the story. He was playing the trombone in a not finished church in Mexico. It was great.
So we're talking about our dads? Got something to say?
You know, I talk about my dad, but he's sitting right there and I'm not getting my ass beat.
I don't hit my child. I've never hit my child. I threaten to regularly. I say, if you keep that up, I'll beat your ass. And
once those meetings commence, he's going to be on this podcast.
Yeah, no, I owe you like 30 million beatings, because how many of those have you received thus far? None of them? Yeah. None of them. I haven't beat her up yet, but one of these days.
Okay, anyways.
Dang, he's off.
So they started building this massive house to store, I don't know if they actually had 6 cars. I wish I had 1 car that worked.
Same.
But, you know, they started building this massive house, and not too long after, or slightly before the house was completely finished, I cannot remember if I'm being honest. I'm so sleep deprived. They had a daughter named Elizabeth. I'm going to say her name because she doesn't come up much and it's not like mine. Anyway, so they welcome their daughter, but their marriage does not stay good for long. Mike grows really distant, like he moves out of the bedroom. He's still in the same house. Like they're still together as a couple, but Mike is actively talking to his family and saying, I don't want to be with her anymore. He's moving his things to his parents' house. He is making plans to leave at some point in the near future. But then life throws a curveball, as it often does. He started getting sick. He goes to the doctor and he gets diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
What does it do though?
So it depends on the it actually depends on the person. There is a range of how bad the symptoms are. It can just make you weak and have autoimmune issues, you know.
Well, and it's degenerative. So
yeah.
It starts out, it might not be bad. You might just have some issues with weakness and whatnot.
But it can also paralyze you.
Yeah. Well, and on medication, you can get it to a point where it stays the same for years and years and years and years. But then at some point, you will get worse because inevitably you will as you go on, and they'll increase the medications and change things. It's like one of those diseases that's almost a race. Can the medicine and the doctors keep you functional until you die, or will the illness take you and take away your mobility and whatnot? It's rough. People with MS go through a lot, and there's a lot of people out there that have it. Yeah.
And he was put on injections for it to keep it from progressing as quickly as it could.
Well, this is 1990.
Yeah,
meds were not as good.
Not as good. And throughout the story, it will be a talking point. Everyone knew he was sick. He did have to miss work quite a bit after his diagnosis.
Well, it says he gets on disability. Yeah.
Yeah, he ended up not working anymore because he knew he couldn't. He would still show up sometimes, his toolbox was still at his work. He still showed up on some days, even though he was on disability. Because, if you're a mechanic making 6 figures, you gotta love that job if you're that good at it, And he had thousands and thousands of dollars worth of tools in his toolbox. It was hard for him to just quit his job.
Oh, yeah.
Here's where it gets even worse. As his health is declining, Ellen claims that he became very verbally abusive, and he would also just disappear to Phoenix for long stretches of time, not be around his family, and she got sick of it, and she got really suspicious. She was like, why is he gone for days on end? Where is he going? What is he doing? So one night she checks his phone, and he has a voicemail from another man, a quite erotic one from what I heard, but it's actually not in evidence anywhere. She never saved it, and his phone, by the time this case was actually a case, because of all the years, the phone was no longer an option for it.
So she claims that she found.
Yeah, so she claims that she found.
Allegedly.
And they were murder roommates.
An intimate voicemail from another man. So Mike's apparently, according to her, having an affair. And that night, So it said when I was researching this, she also claimed he was waking her up basically nightly at 2 to 3 in the morning every night to verbally abuse her and have screaming matches. She said it was because he didn't want to have big fights in front of their daughter. And later on, you'll understand more of this, I think, with other things that were said. But she accuses him of the affair that night when he wakes her up, and he just leaves. At least that's what she said.
So yeah, all we have to go off is she said that he's abusive. She said he's having an affair. Now she said he's left.
Mm-hmm.
He's dead.
At this point, yes. Spoiler alert.
I'm just guessing, but
Spoiler alert.
he's dead.
He didn't
That's
leave.
awesome.
He never actually got to leave his property. Anyway, we'll cover that in a little bit because I'm going to tell you her cover-up story.
Nice.
She told all his coworkers that he moved to Arizona. They were like, okay, maybe he's sick. He went there for treatment or something, but it's weird that he left his toolbox full of thousands of dollars worth of tools here. So they just left it there thinking he was going to come back and grab it at some point. And his family, his sister was also interviewed in this documentary I watched. She said that his family were like, this is really weird. Like, he would never just stop talking to his mom, just especially when he had been confiding in them for actual years that he wanted to leave his wife. Like, if he was going to leave his wife, he would have gone to them.
It's not like it was not like it would have been a surprise. They knew.
Yeah, they knew he wasn't happy.
Oh my god, the person you said you weren't happy with, you weren't happy with?
And now you actually left?
But where are you? Yeah. So they were like, this is really weird, but whatever, maybe he's just taking time away. They didn't push it for a while. But after several months, they finally were like, this is extra weird. This isn't, something feels off. So they went to the police and they filed a missing person report. The police were like, listen, he's an adult. If he wants to just cut everyone out of his life, he's more than welcome to. They didn't really do much investigation at this time. Because
there's no body, there's no evidence, nobody heard something, there's no evidence, nothing to believe other than...
Yeah, there's no, like, outright evidence of foul play or anything.
And she's saying he is having an affair and he disappeared. Mm-hmm. The family, when the police go to question him, the family would say, well, yeah, he said he was done with her. He wanted to leave for a while. What are the cops going to think? There's no body. There's no crime that they can tell of. An adult who said he was going to leave his wife seems to have done so.
Exactly. Are you getting good wobble dogs over there, Pixie?
I'm paying attention.
No, I want to know. Like, actually, no.
Are you texting friends there, daughter?
I'm playing mobile games.
Of course you are.
No,
I would like to point out that the reason that Pixie and Padge are both distracting themselves with mobile games is because they're both monsters. Moving on.
I only play mobile games.
I was genuinely asking because I also play Wobble Dogs, and for anyone who does play Wobble Dogs, you know you can get some really crazy ones with like 20 million wings or 2 heads or 8 legs. So I just wanted to know if it had gotten that far yet.
All I got so far is Red Ears. I literally just started this one.
Oh, I didn't know you restarted. Red Ears are cool though.
I am so old. I don't even know what that is.
It's a very wacky niche
video
game. Like, it's an indie game, definitely.
I literally watched it get developed on TikTok.
What's the game you've been playing, daughter? We downloaded it on your computer. Undertale. She's a little bit into the music and the game and everything.
I got the special edition thing of it that came with the locket and the book and the art book and the and the stickers.
I wish I had some.
That was my Christmas present when I was in high school.
I started playing it for the first time, and Papyrus wouldn't be my boyfriend, and I'm really sad.
You were just sad about the freaking tower.
You're a child in the game. Of course he won't be your boyfriend.
We went on a date.
Don't
and
you're
a
child. I'm pretty sure you date Mettaton too.
I have no idea. I haven't done that far.
It's just Papyrus and Alphys.
Oh, wow. I think I dated Mettaton in the 2000s. Sorry.
It's Papyrus and then in the pacifist ending, it's Alphys.
Oh, I was also Mettaton for Halloween in high school.
I don't know what Mettaton looks like.
It
I'm
took
not that
me
far.
3 days to beat Mettaton's
That's my favorite fight in the whole game. It's my favorite fight in the whole game.
It's my least favorite because it took me so long.
Okay.
So anyway, the police barely investigate. That's where we were.
Yes, I know.
So after I believe it was about 6 months that it said, Ellen filed for divorce and gained sole custody of their daughter because he wasn't in the picture. Nobody could get in contact with him. She got all the money from the joint bank account, which 6 months and no contact is kind of like, that would be a red flag to me, as,
And it depends. If a guy moved away to live a very different life. I mean, this is the 1990s. If a guy in the 90s admitted to being gay and moved away, you have to remember that the stigma back then was different.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm not saying that because I don't think that many of my gay friends would abandon their children, just because you leave your wife. But I hate to say that in the time, cops might say, gay, ew, I don't want to think about it, and not really investigate.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, they did contact Ellen, and she was like, oh, well, he went off to the Caribbean to live with his gay boyfriend. And she made sure she went around everywhere. Anytime she was asked, he went to the Caribbean to live with his gay boyfriend. Oh, yeah, I've talked to him. She hadn't.
Well, of course not, because he would have talked to his mom.
She was not helping the situation. She was definitely pushing that story as far as she could to anyone who would listen.
Yeah, Arizona's a little more believable than the Caribbean, and especially when you have no proof.
Yeah.
And the cops may not have looked into it too closely, because I hate to say it, in the 90s, there was a tendency for cops to not investigate and stuff. Gay people died and they didn't bother.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to criticize cops, but back then it was different. But for his family, she had to know. Like, he's somewhere in Arizona. That's like,
Yeah.
That's weird. Why isn't he calling us? He's in the Caribbean. Oh, now you're picking a place that we can't drive to.
The Caribbean is so fucking random.
Exactly.
It's beautiful. It's a cool place to go. It might be a place in the 90s that people expected gay people to live.
That's
I'm sorry to say that, but you guys were alive in the 90s. It was weird. And quite frankly, you can't drive there.
Yeah.
You're going to have to fly or get a boat. The whole point is she has now made it. She has added a bunch of hurdles. We don't know where he is. We don't have contact with him. Oh my God, he's not even in the country anymore.
I was going to say, how would he have the money for that? But I guess if he had a 6-car garage.
Well, but at the same time, he had lost his income significantly. He was on disability. So,
right, but he could still be pulling his disability checks.
True.
Well, so she was still pulling his disability checks.
I know she was, but the family might not have known that. People might not have known.
But, and his family was fully aware he was on disability, so they weren't buying it when she said he was in the Caribbean. They were like, you guys can barely afford your house.
Yeah.
Because she did have to sell the house after he passed away. She could not afford the bills on it anymore after he...
Well, yeah,
his quote unquote.
Well, his salary, I'm sure, greatly reduced on disability, and then he was still going in, probably trying to keep them above water. Mm-hmm. Doing side jobs. I'm guessing, probably under the table kind of stuff, and then he vanishes completely. Well, I haven't heard anything about Ellen's job yet.
Well, she was a store manager at a different mechanic shop, but it was not near enough, not anywhere close to what he was making.
Right.
From what I could tell.
Oh, yeah, he's the mechanic.
But no, and there was a noticeable change in Ellen after he so-called left. She seemed so much lighter at work, she wasn't stressing anymore. All her coworkers noticed. They didn't think anything of it because they didn't know a ton. They did know that he would scream at her. She did sometimes come in with bruises, so... the abuse, at the end of this, I was researching this with my boyfriend present, and he was like, I don't know, a lot of this seems made up. And I know that a lot of it does from the way she talks, but not all of it was. There was evidence of some of it.
Well, and I'll also point out, so, yes, she had bruises, and that could mean that he was abusing her. It also could be that they were getting into horrible fights. I've known married people who beat the crap out of each other.
Mm-hmm. So she seemed a lot lighter at work and everything. There was a noticeable change, which was just more suspicious for his family. She wasn't in contact with his family. She wasn't talking to them. Which, in the situation she's in, that would be weird to talk to his family a lot. But there's still, months go by, years go by.
See, I don't know. I'm married. If my wife vanished suddenly and got a gay lover and moved to the Caribbean, Nana and Papa would probably want to see Padge a lot.
I want to see Nana and Papa.
And she'd want to see them. And so I get the whole, it might be weird, but it's only weird if she killed him.
See, and that's why I know, because
And that's
I
why
know
she
how it
killed
is.
You know how it is, yeah.
But also, their daughter was only 6 when he disappeared.
Which means
and
she's
so
probably bonded to Grandma and Grandpa.
Well, I don't know how often she got to see them.
Right.
He was so ready to leave his wife, and it sounds like from the way things were after the fact that she didn't really want her daughter to have a relationship with that side of the family. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Hey, shout out to Nana and Papa. You guys are welcome.
Oh, yeah. Shout out, I love you.
Padge loves you.
So his family, a couple of years go by, his father passed away. Mike's dad passed away, and they knew it was extra weird. Even if he wasn't talking to them, even if he was keeping distant, he would have shown up for his own dad's funeral. And when he wasn't there, they were like, what the heck is going on? This 3 years later, why isn't he at his dad's funeral? But you know who did show up to his dad's funeral? Ellen and her kids.
So weird.
Super weird.
That's
right?
so weird.
No, I don't think it's weird.
Just wait till you hear the rest of it, though.
You know why I think they showed up? Inheritance.
You're not wrong, because Ellen was actively asking Mike's family members if the grandpa had Elizabeth in the will.
Yep.
And Mike's sister was like, why are you at a funeral asking this? And also...
Insensitive much?
Yeah, right? And also, Ellen's son had a really weird moment that, the sister was like, what is going on? Right? He walked up to the casket and he just started sobbing, he was hysterical. And Ellen took him outside the building. And that's not his grandpa. He's not close to Mike's family. Why is he reacting like that? So it's something she held on to and was like, why? This is all really weird, So after the 3 years, she goes back to the police. She said, hey, he's missing. I'm sure he's missing. He didn't show up to our dad's funeral. Where is he? Can you please do an investigation? So finally, a detective does get put on the investigation. His name disappeared. I'm so sorry. I think it might have been...
It was in the
Detective
original
Wilson.
version.
Yes, hold on. Please hold. Yes, Detective Wilson. That was his name. I remembered.
Wilson!
Look at my brain go, guys. And so, anyway, Detective Wilson gets put on the case. And, he started by looking to see if there was any records of Mike having a job somewhere else. Any, criminal records. Maybe he got pulled over, arrested, something,
Electronic records and medical records, yeah.
Medical records, because he was chronically ill
Right.
when he disappeared. He would need some form of treatment. He didn't find anything. There was no record of Mike having a job. He hadn't gotten arrested.
God, it's almost like he's dead.
Right?
Almost.
The only records he found, now it's 2005 at this point, so we're all kept up on what time it is. The only thing he found was Mike's tax returns for 2004 and 2005 had been filed, and he had received the return. So that was the only evidence of Mike existing for the past 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And probably when they tracked it, we know who did the taxes.
Yeah. Yep. With this new investigator on the case, he has a game plan. Wilson! He has a game plan. He goes to the Albuquerque newspaper and he says, hey, we're going to classify this as a homicide, and I would like you to put an article out asking for any tips that we could get for this case, because it's gone 3 years already, we have nothing, So they get a call from the neighbors from the house that Ellen and Mike shared. And they said, hey, one night we heard gunshots, and then we saw Ellen and her son digging in the yard. So...
And we just decided not to say anything for years. I mean, hey. Good neighbors don't tell when you're burying bodies. I mean, those are some good neighbors.
Yeah, if I was that neighbor...
Not really, folks. Don't kill people, and if you think your neighbor killed somebody, oh no, maybe call a cop.
I'm just saying, if you hear gunshots...
And then they're digging in the yard.
They're digging, just the gunshots alone, you could maybe be like, it's a car back.
Hey, a little safety call. It doesn't hurt to call the police and have them do a safety check.
Welfare check. Be like, hey, I think I just heard gunshots in my neighborhood. You don't even have to, they could have come from anywhere.
Officer, please drive around and make sure no one's dead.
Yeah, they, not to spoil it, but they couldn't have saved him.
Of course not.
But they could have had this not go on 8 years without his family.
If the cops had driven around that night and go, hey, what's that little kid and his mom digging in the yard for? That would have solved a lot of problems.
Did we say how old the son was?
At the time that he was digging the hole, he was 17.
Well, still, that's too young to be digging your own father's grave. Not that any age is good.
Yeah, no.
There's an age where I can dig your grave.
I mean, you can do it at any grade. You can do it at any age, but I'm going to do something to you right now, and then you'll apologize. Padge, digging your father's grave.
Sorry.
That's what I thought.
I have vivid nightmares about my parents dying.
Same!
And what am I actually did?
Because life sucks. And Stegosaurus. No.
That's not funny.
I don't know why we're all laughing.
That's so funny.
The funniest, hey everybody, it's the funniest joke we've ever told. Dead parents.
Pixie did like a whole pose and everything.
No parents.
Yes, you were over here like, and one of them actually dead. It was
So,
like a game show.
When Padge was little, she started running around the house.
No.
Well, when Padge was little, she started running around the house with a blanket over her shoulder going, I'm Batman. I'm the knight.
Stop.
And at one point, she goes into the kitchen and I'm cooking something and she goes, I'm Batman. I go, well, Batman better get to bed. It's bedtime. Batman doesn't have a bedtime. Well, Batman's dad says it's bedtime. Batman doesn't have parents. Oh.
I am a natural empath.
She's like, Batman has no parents. Oh. And she gets all sad and she never did Batman again because she didn't want to be Batman. Batman doesn't have parents.
I like my parents.
Does that mean you can't be Spider-Man either?
I like my uncle too.
Shout out to Uncle.
Shout out to Uncle. I'm sorry for not being around.
All right.
Okay, so anyway, with this information from the neighbors that should have been reported 3 years before, he was able to bring cadaver dogs to that property, and both cadaver dogs like separately alerted for remains, but they dug in the spot where the alert happened, and there were none.
Okay, so they moved the body.
Well, so I don't think that's what happened because the body's under. I'm just spoiling it left and right. The body is under cement at this point, so I think it confused the dogs.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because later when you hear her statement about how it went down, it sounds like the body was in several different places before it was actually on the ground.
Okay.
So we'll get to that, though. So because that tip kind of fell through, there were just more years of silence. For 8 years, nobody knew what happened to this man. The detective didn't give up, but he also had 20 other cold cases he was working on actively while he was working on this case. So, like, the family kept calling and saying, hey, like, do you have any updates? What happened to our brother? What happened to our son? What happened to our uncle? You know, like, they kept calling, and then, finally, another tip came in. So, a friend of Michael, Ellen's son, that had been friends with him for years, he got fired from his job, where Ellen was his boss. Ellen
So this comes down to, she fired me, so I'm going to tell on her.
Basically, yeah, he had known the secret for years because Michael told him when they were teenagers. They went to school together.
Mm-hmm.
The day after his mom made him help her, he went to his best friend. He was like, this is the thing I experienced. So his friend got fired from his job. Ellen didn't know he knew the secret. Her boss made her fire him.
Yeah.
So he went to the cops. He was like, hey, you know this case you've been investigating and trying to figure out? Yeah, I got information for you. So they were able to get information from him. They hooked him up with a hidden microphone and sent him back to his friend's house, where he was able to record enough information that they brought Ellen's son in for questioning. They said, hey, we got this evidence. We need you to tell us what happened.
And he's probably been wanting to talk about it since it happened.
Well, he actually, for a little bit, he kept the story that his mom pushed for so many years. He was like, no, he left us. Yeah, he left us. And then finally they were like, dude, here's the evidence we got. So then finally he broke. He did break. He'd been holding it in since he was 17, you know?
Yeah. Well, and maybe keeping hold of that whole Death Left Us thing might have been
his coping mechanism.
A cover up in his brain. Like if I believe that, if I just believe it, I can forget his face when I put him in the ground.
So horrible.
Yeah.
So this is where the case finally broke. They finally had the information they needed. So what happened that night? Here's the story from Ellen, and then I'll tell you what the investigators actually found.
Of course.
Ellen said that Mike woke her up at 2 a.m. for their nightly screaming session, that she felt extremely threatened, and so she ran to the bedroom to get the gun she had borrowed from one of her coworkers. a coworker who, when he found out everything that went down, was like, I had no idea. Like, I should not have given her that gun.
Okay, but why would you lend somebody a gun? Like, that doesn't seem like a very lendable thing.
So she was coming to work crying about how her husband was abusive, and the coworker...
So he gave her a weapon that kills.
Listen, I don't know what he was thinking. From everything I heard, it sounded like he meant well, but that's...
Maybe she'll just threaten him.
Maybe don't give it to her with bullets in it, because when she returned it, he was like, where's the bullets? Where do you think they went, sir? Anyway... So, yeah, she said she felt really threatened, and she ran to the bedroom to get the gun and told him that she had a gun, and she just shot at him.
I have a gun!
And she killed him in self-defense, is what she said.
Right. He was coming right for me.
The gunshots woke her son up, and he tried to call 911, and she made him stop calling 911. And then she made him help her wrap up the body, and they tried to bury it, and then it didn't work, so she hired a man to dig up the garage floor. They threw the body in there, and then she hired a different man to fill in the garage floor. Yeah. So,
not suspicious at all.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know who these people are who didn't look in the hole they filled in, but,
Well, I mean, if you think about it, okay, so I hire a guy, whatever excuse I have, we're going to change this, I want this floor dug up, I'll pay you to dig it up. Mm-hmm. When he's done, they're like, yeah, thank you, here's your money. We'll let you know when we're going to do the rest of this renovation. Then you hire somebody else and you go, my husband, before he disappeared, was doing this renovation and I don't want any more, I want this back. Fill it up with concrete. The person comes in, there's a hole.
Now, she did throw some of the concrete blocks on top of the body.
Oh, is that saying? You cover the body, you put it at the bottom, you cover it up, and you just say, I want this filled with concrete, and you pay somebody, and you pay them well enough to I want it done quick. Can you get it done in a day? Hurry up. You give them a bunch of money, they come in, they pour the concrete real quick, they smooth it out, they're done. It's iffy, but then again, people do crazy stuff in this world.
But it took 3 days to find the body, but they did find the body when they went to investigate. But yeah, so that's the story that she gave the police. When the detective went to investigate, because they were trying to find any evidence, it's been 8 years. Right. There's no forensic evidence, like blood, anything like that's all been cleaned out. The house has been sold. They don't live there anymore. But her son remembered that one of the bullets had hit a speaker that was sitting in the living room, which led to the investigator realizing that from the angle that the bullets hit the body and from where the speaker was sitting that the bullet hit it, he wasn't running toward her, he was laying on the couch.
Okay, yeah, because the speaker was too low to the ground for him to be standing. Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, she shot 8 bullets. 7 of them hit him. I feel like in a moment of self-defense, that you wouldn't be that accurate necessarily.
Well, maybe not. I mean, it depends. If you've had any training, you might be, and honestly, they do say that if you're going to use a gun for self-defense and you actually pull the trigger, you should empty it. Mm-hmm. So if somebody's close enough to you and you're not a bad shot and you're scared, you might empty the gun on them. I'm not so concerned with that. I'm much more concerned with it was too low to the ground for him to have been standing.
Well, and they were able to see the angle, like the path that the bullet traveled through the body, and it just didn't match up with him standing up and going after her. Unfortunately, at this time in the state of New Mexico, the statute of limitations had run out for everything except for first-degree murder. And with that lack of evidence, they couldn't charge her with first-degree murder. So, like I said, they were trying to find anything, but they had to prove beyond reasonable doubt.
Of course, yeah.
They had to prove it wasn't self-defense, that it was premeditated, which they did have some evidence. She tried to buy a gun a month before she borrowed the one from her coworker, but she was denied because she had fraud in her records. And then she did more fraud by taking his disability checks and filing his tax returns. Yeah, so the prosecutor wanted to make sure that she got some form of punishment for what happened. So they gave her a plea deal. She pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter. She was sentenced to 11 years and only served 8. So she's out. She's
out in the world. High-fiving Carla Homolka somewhere in the world.
I don't know who that is.
Ken and Barbie Killer.
Oh, yeah, now I know who that is.
She's out already as well. I forgot
her name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
the female killers who murder someone or multiple someones and now are in a shared murderer village high-fiving. That's what I think.
But and she tried to act remorseful, but at the same time during her sentencing, she asked the judge if she could only have 5 years instead because she wanted to see her daughter's graduation.
Wow.
While his family was all sitting in the courtroom, and to me, like, if you are that remorseful, I would just take the sentence.
Well, yeah. Especially as she I'm sure got like first time felony laws. That's why she got out in 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
She got some level of, once she got a deal and then she got out early.
Yeah.
8 years is nothing for when you blow your husband away by shooting him 7 times while he's laying down.
Yeah. But
don't get any ideas, wife.
The one good thing that came out of this case was New Mexico has since had legislation trying to change the statute of limitations for specific, like, homicide situations.
Right.
Just so that things like this don't happen again. Because the family of Mike Snyder feels absolutely cheated. They feel like she should have gotten a lot more time.
Well, and unfortunately they made the deal with her because it seems like, and I mean, I know it's hard to convict someone, but I would have thought that she would be on fraud charges for the, I'm guessing there at some point was fraud charges for her keeping his disability checks and the false tax filing and stuff like that. But they couldn't do first degree murder, statute of limitations, all of that. All they could charge her with was manslaughter. She took the plea. She took a deal.
And that's only because part of the plea was she dropped the statute of limitations, so she could be charged with manslaughter.
Right. But I'm guessing that they said, if you don't, we're going to come after you with these fraud charges.
Yeah.
The federal government might come after you for tax fraud. You might, and so, they probably came up with something, and weirdly, manslaughter was probably shorter than tax cases, you know. Well, yay. So sorry to hear about that. Everyone?
What a great way to start that subject, guys.
Hey, we said Ladies' Night is about murder. So, next in our wonderful Ladies' Night, I think our newest host should read. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Agree.
Go Patch.
Go Patch, 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 Patch.
What's the screaming?
I'm scared, Patch. I'm sorry.
I'm a
Don't
scared
be.
Patch.
You don't be a scared Patch.
I'm a scared little kitty.
Okay. All right.
Okay, let me mess with my phone.
Which one is Patch covering?
Tonight I'm going to cover Murders Starting in the Summer of 1984 by Deborah Denise Brown and her partner, Alton Coleman. But I didn't have to. When my dad said, research Deborah Brown, I could have researched Deborah K. Brown, who was convicted of helping plot her mayor husband's murder. Denise Brown, who stabbed her husband. The Deborah Brown convicted of killing her employer in 1993. She was actually innocent. Deborah Brown of Texas, who killed someone in a fight, or even the story of the 1975 murder victim, also known as Deborah Brown.
So what I'm hearing is don't name your kid Deborah Brown, Denise Brown, Deborah Denise Brown.
So, okay, my dad needs to be more clear on what I'm supposed to be doing. And 2, if your name's Deborah, calm down, sweetie. Get some help. We all love you.
Yeah, no, please, if your name is Deborah, please don't look me up.
Yeah, we love you.
Yeah, no, I had no idea.
So,
I looked up and I saw that there was like an Arizona.
Deborahs, don't kill us. Okay, so let's get into the story, or at least the actual problems that happened, what they did. But again, tonight I am covering the multiple murders starting in the summer of 1984 by Deborah Denise Brown and her partner Alton Coleman. A violent 7-week rampage across 6 Midwestern states. They're screen marked.
They end up here, but that's, yeah. Yeah, no. Unfortunately, this one doesn't end up being really a Four Corners case, but that's okay.
It's fine. She's still horrible.
Were they killing in Nebraska at any point?
Oh.
Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, and I also saw some stuff that there might have been Southwestern.
You know what?
Don't
I was born in
start with
Michigan.
Ohio.
I did research and then he did research and then
Michigan is close enough for me.
Michigan is a little too close.
Ooh. I think you might need to move away from the Pixie.
What? What I do? Why didn't hate on the place I was born?
You said Michigan's a little too close. I'm like, oh, hey, Michigan, you want to move away?
Twas a joke. We love you.
I'm sorry. I cannot hear the word Michigan or talk about the place without thinking of the short horror film.
The short horror film called Michigan?
Possibly in Michigan.
Possibly. Okay. I don't know that.
I've never heard of that.
I will. It's horrible. It's horrible. It is
terrible.
The best. I love it so much. It's horrible.
Tell us about these murders.
Okay, a 7-week rampage is where I was, right?
That is correct.
Across 6 Midwestern states. Their spree marked in unprecedented brutality, mobility, and the vulnerability of their victims terrified communities and law enforcement alike. Over the course of their travels through Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, and Wisconsin, Coleman and Brown committed kidnappings, sexual assaults, robberies, and at least 8 murders, often targeting children and vulnerable adults. The crimes attributed to Coleman and Brown were characterized by extreme violence and cruelty. Victims were frequently abused, assaulted, and murdered with a lot of suffering, sexual violence, fatal beatings, or strangulation. They really, really liked strangulation. Anything that cut off oxygen.
Crazy.
Well then.
Sounds like one of them spree killer cases.
Yeah, it is one of them spree killers.
Yeah.
One of their most notorious cases is, of course, with the whole oxygen thing. A 7-year-old named Tamika Turks. I'm pretty sure I got that right. I'm so sorry.
That sounds right to me.
In Ohio, where court testimony established that Brown had participated directly in the child's murder, while Coleman assaulted her. Authorities described Coleman as the dominant partner, but prosecutors maintained that Brown was an active and willing participant. Brown's background. During appeals and later court hearings, Brown's defense introduced evidence of her traumatic upbringing.
Because her name's Deborah Brown, so it had to be traumatic.
It had to be traumatic.
Apparently.
I'm so sorry, Deborahs of the world. So anyway, she endured severe abuse, neglect, abandonment, and sexual violence as a child. Medical reports and expert testimony also revealed she had suffered a major head injury and
Brain damage.
Yeah, that's often a good sign, right?
major head.
And no one here has
lobotomy
had
done wrong.
and no one in the building has had severe brain damage.
Pixie has asked me for a lobotomy several times.
I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy.
What?
Huh?
It's an old joke. I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy.
Okay.
If you say so.
Oh, come on.
Okay, sorry, that was my old moment.
Am I the only person that understood that?
92.
What was that?
Am I the only person that understood what you just said?
Yeah, because I raised you.
God
That's
damn it.
yeah.
You old man.
It's my fault for raising you. Now stop flexing and move on.
1781.
Okay.
Hey, stop being groovy. We're trying to do a thing.
In her youth, resulting in cognitive and emotional impairments. Psychological evaluations placed Brown within the borderline range of intellectual disability. She could not understand what was going on.
No, she could.
She could, but she wasn't.
Borderline is more like closer to like a sociopath. She has trouble with emotions. She has trouble understanding why other people matter. She only cares about herself.
What she couldn't understand why she should care.
Right. Oh, man, exactly.
Okay.
Defense
experts argued that Brown was highly susceptible to Coleman's manipulation and control, which factored into her participation in the crime. Brown was initially sentenced to death in Ohio and Indiana on the chopping block, but in 1991, Ohio Governor Richard Celeste,
It's an old white dude.
that old white dude with the really fake-like name that I'm jealous of.
Are you like Richard Celeste? Celeste is a cool name.
Celeste is pretty. It's also the last name with my main OC, so it makes me kind of angry.
Your main OC?
It makes
Okay.
me sad.
My daughter wrote a book that she completed when she was 12 years old, and she now is writing the second draft.
I'm not ready.
No one said you didn't say you're publishing.
Yeah.
You're working on it. Anyways, so Richard Celeste commuted her sentence, I believe.
Yep. Commuted her sentence to life imprisonment. citing her intellectual limitations and history of abuse. Subordinate role to Coleman, Associated Press, 1991 in Indiana. Her sentence was reduced to 140 years.
That,
2018.
140 years is so much more helpful.
Yeah, it's still life. Yeah.
I would love if my sentence got shortened to 140 years.
Yes, your 120-year sentence. Your 200-year sentence. Yes, it's 140 years now. If you learn how to live out in, if you learn how to live up to 180, then you will be out for a day. A day.
Well, honestly, 140 years. If that wasn't a life sentence, or if you could have parole, that's 70 years. If you get good time, you find Jesus, maybe you're out in 50. That's still a really long time. You probably still die in jail.
Yeah. Learn how to live up to your hundreds if you want to murder somebody, everybody.
Yeah.
Or just don't murder people.
That too.
That too, but if you really want to,
right, Pixie?
then find immortality first.
May I interrupt for a blurb of not this story? Okay. I would like the world to know. Every time I look over to see Pixie's wobble dogs, there's at least 20 more chicken nuggets than I do.
The chicken nuggets make them little.
Oh, you're trying to get little wobble dogs?
You realize I don't know what wobble dogs are, so the likelihood of me cutting this out...
Evolving legal standards in regarding intellectual disability.
I think my child has gone to plaid.
Plaid?
Look it up. It's an old man joke.
Intellectual disability and capital punishment. Coleman, meanwhile, okay, I'm so done with this, remained on death row until his execution in 2002. Remorse and legacy. For years, Brown showed little public emotion. No emotion, didn't fucking care regarding her crimes. However, in 2005, she issued a recorded apology. She brought the ukulele out.
No! Not the ukulele!
Anything but the ukulele!
Why does every YouTuber use a ukulele?
I am so lost.
Toxic gossip train!
Shut up!
Circling the chat misinformation!
Okay, so she didn't actually bring out a ukulele.
No, ukulele.
Okay,
It was
okay.
just a young person joke.
Oh, okay, cool.
A young person.
I got it.
I'll explain. I will explain it to you on your way to bring me to the gosh dang
I'll
part.
explain when you're older.
Okay. So anyways, however.
Don't worry, Dad. You're too young to know that right now.
Or too old. So in 2005, she issued a ukulele recorded apology.
Yes, that's what we're going with. There was a very toxic gossip train. So she issued a recorded apology expressing remorse to the victims' families. Not the victims, just the families. The Coleman Brown case endures as one of the most disturbing, intense interstate killing sprees of the 1980s. Oh, old. And is...
Yeah, I was alive. Shut up.
And is frequently studied in the concept. Not old. People from 1980s. Love you all. Anyway, and studied in the context of coercive criminal relationships, the impact of trauma and intellectual disability, and the role of female accomplices in serial murder cases.
Okay. The Arizona Frontier Mystery, Sally Skull. Okay, so Sally Skull, sometimes identified in records as Sarah Jane Newman, was a remarkable figure of the American Southwest.
The American Southwest.
Southwest!
In the swamp. It's the swamp time.
Of the American Southwest during the late 19th century. She made her mark as a rancher, a businesswoman, and a frontier operator in Arizona and New Mexico territories. Roles seldom granted to women at the time. Historians disagree about many details of her early life. Accounts claim that she was born in the 1840s or the 1850s, and later migrated west following the Civil War, though much of the origin story blends documented history with frontier folklore. Contrary to sensationalized modern accounts, Sally Skull was not a verified killer. Her notoriety stemmed from cattle disputes, accusations, rustling,
cattle rustling.
Yes.
So she didn't have a blue check mark on her murder papers?
No.
Dang.
She's not a verified.
Damn.
Well, and the reason I brought her up originally is because it said she was an axe murderer. And
Yeah,
I was
that's what
like,
it says that later too.
I was like, what? But, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Contrary to sensationalized modern accounts, Sally Skull was not a verified killer. Her notoriety stemmed from the cattle disputes, accusations of rustling,
Rustling? I like that.
and involvement in the turbulent frontier feuds. All underscored by her resilience and ability to thrive in a challenging environment. In the 1880s, Sally Skull was recognized as a ranch owner and a cattle operator. At a time when women rarely held leadership roles in ranching. She was known for her independence, toughness, strength, and resourcefulness. And she navigated hardships with determination. While some newspapers portrayed her as dangerous or scandalous, historians caution that many old world reports were exaggerated. Allegations of her association with rustlers were
Let's say it every time. Rustlers.
or armed riders reflect the difficult reality. I cannot fucking read. I don't have my glasses and I'm hella dyslexic. Why am I doing this? Whose idea was this?
Actually, if I recall correctly, it was yours.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
You were like, I want to read scripts.
I want a script.
I literally came up with this for all of us because you wanted to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks, me.
Me.
Disputes over ranch ownership and cattle were common, and Skull's involvement in such conflicts highlighted her ability to stand her ground in a world dominated by men. So this sounds like they were just making shit up because they didn't like a lady in control.
Well, and that's kind of what I read too, because I looked at this one as well, and I was so wanting, there was one story I read about her, killing one of her husbands on a horseback with an axe, and I'm like, that is so metal. That is so awesome. It's
Sounds
complete
like Sleepy
but
Hollow.
it's, yeah. But then it's she's almost kind of a cooler character because actually she just didn't take crap and was a businesswoman in a time where women were supposed to be property. They couldn't vote. You gotta remember, you couldn't have a bank account without a husband or a father on it. You couldn't vote, couldn't buy land. This woman owned land, and if you had a problem with it, she'd wrestle with you.
Rustling. Rustling.
And I do know everybody that wrestling and wrestling are different things. That was a joke.
I'm so sorry, anyone named Russell.
Russell.
Russell. It's
Russell,
sorry.
You're gonna be
Sorry.
to people.
I'm taking medicine for that, but for some reason I can't stop doing it. Russell.
Oh God.
You're gonna get in trouble.
Your mom's gonna get in trouble.
Yes, she is.
With who?
I don't know. I love telling your mama jokes, doing your mama jokes. I love doing them to my daughter because I'm basically talking about my wife, and my wife does not appreciate it, and that makes it funnier.
My sister, and she's like, we have the same.
Mom.
My boyfriend does it to his siblings, and they're like, what's wrong with
I
you?
know.
My sister, she's like, we have the same mom.
I tell him your mama jokes. I'm talking about my grandma.
Yeah, no, I'll do your mama jokes. I remember the first time when she was 4, I did a your mama joke, and my wife looked at me and said, "Excuse me?" She's like, "I take offense at that. I'm the mom here." And I went, "I know." And I never stopped.
Do we have time for a small rabbit trail? Because
Is it about how the Ninja Turtles made a Yo Mama joke in 2003?
no, it was about how you've decided that there is a collective your mom.
Oh yes, the collective your mom. We all have, everybody in the universe has one collective your mom, and that's your mom. That's all. That's what I figured we had time. That's
The
it.
universal mom.
The
The
universal
god of
your
mom.
You know what?
Mom.
Your mom jokes are just so old and tired and ridiculous
Like you?
and stupid. Just like your mom.
Shut up.
Anyways.
Stegosaurus.
Legends about Sally Skull grew over time. Stories claimed she participated in raids, carried firearms, and intimidated rivals. While many of these tales remain unverified, they speak to the respect she earned for her courage and tenacity on the frontier. No reliable historical evidence supports the idea that Sally Skull committed any axe murders or was convicted of any violent crimes. Rather, her legacy is shaped by folklore that often exaggerates the actions of women who defied social expectations. So, like, pretty much exactly what I was saying. Stories about Sally Skull include claims that she killed 5 husbands, some with an axe, or shot men at public events.
You know he's going to keep that part, right?
I know.
Okay.
These accounts were often claimed to be accurate by the newspapers of the time, but were rooted in tall tales and sensationalized biographies, with little to no verifiable evidence. The anecdotes often appeared in dime novels and were retold to dramatize the lives of women who dared step into roles typically reserved for men. Sally Skull's life was marked by ranching, horse trading, transport work, and multiple marriages. She was never formally accused or convicted of anything, as no surviving records connect her to any crime. The legends attributed to her reflect both a romanticized and sometimes critical view of strong frontier women. While her reputation was shaped by a dangerous environment, her ability to survive and succeed was extraordinary.
You know, I take it back. Mom's not going to want to watch this one.
Watch? Is that like wrestling?
Wrestling!
No one's going to be able to hear you back there, so.
No, I'm just saying it out. If they're going to do a country
Yeah, if they're going to do it, if you're going to do a cowboy accent, my wife's going to hand it to me and say,
I don't want to do this.
I want to do this. Yeah, she's not a big fan of that accent, so let's finish this.
Alrighty. Today, Sally Skull is remembered through scattered records, newspaper archives, and regional folklore. Modern retellings sometimes exaggerate her role, but she endures as a symbol of resilience, independence, and strength. A woman who forged her own path in a world where few women even dared to enter. Whether as a survivor, entrepreneur, or a target of a rumor, Sally Skull's legacy honors the spirit and determination of the frontier women.
So I wonder, is that cooler than her being an axe murderer?
I think so.
I think it's kind of cooler, you know?
I think so. I think it's crazy that, you know, there was, I feel like the rumors were just going around because she was a woman, right? Like, it's crazy that people were so mad that she was in that much, like, she wasn't even in, like, a massive position of power.
She just owned some land and had some cattle.
Independent, and people were mad at her for being independent, so like, you're a fucking murderer. Like,
yeah. Well, and I mean, you know, some of the stuff in some of the research that I read, like, there was one thing about, like, she supposedly shot a bunch of men at a dance. I'm like, they would not have she was a woman, not in a typical women's role. If she just, like, flipped out at a dance and shot a bunch of dudes, she'd have been in jail.
yeah, exactly.
They'd have executed her.
Exactly.
It's all, that actually convinced me even more that she was just probably a badass, you know?
The men were just jealous they couldn't be like her.
Or couldn't beat her or couldn't take her down, you know? Well, and she was married 5 times. That kind of tells me that she had issues with men probably trying to control her. Because back then, a husband often thought he had ownership of his wife.
Oh, yeah.
Well, all right, everybody. The last story tonight is of Jodi Arias, the convicted boyfriend killer.
This one's a lot bigger than all the other ones.
Well, you know, it was definitely, I would say it was just the most well-known in a lot of ways. But I did it because it's Arizona, so it's definitely within the 4 corners. Even though she's from California.
I kind of forgot I was that close.
Yeah, yep. So, and it's funny because, of course, Pixie was raised Mormon, and I was at least partially raised by Mormons. Wonderful, amazing, beautiful people that I loved. Not all Mormons are crazy or scary or evil or mean. Some Mormons are awesome.
I can vouch for that. I have a lot of good friends.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Who are Mormons.
Some people get really weird about Mormons, and I've had really good experiences with Mormons. I've definitely met Mormons that I didn't get along with, but it was more personal. It wasn't about what they believed. Mm-hmm. That being said, I never converted because I couldn't be a Mormon, but that doesn't mean I have a problem with them. However, let's talk about Jodi Ann Arias, who was born July 9th, 1980. So she's 2 years younger than me. And she's born in Salinas, California, raised in a middle-class family, and described as an artistic and bright child who grew up with both parents and siblings. Despite a relatively ordinary upbringing, Arias struggled during her teenage years. She clashed with her parents, dropped out of high school, and worked a variety of jobs as a young adult, including a waitress, a photographer. She was also seeking independence and a sense of belonging. In September 2006, Jodi met Travis Alexander at a work conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. She was working for Prepaid Legal Services, as was Alexander, and he was a charismatic motivational speaker and a high-level salesman for the organization.
What is Prepaid Legal Services?
Okay, so in the early 2000s and whatnot, there was and I don't know if it's still around, but it was a thing where you could basically pay, I mean, I'm going to say, and I don't know if it was a pyramid scheme, I don't know exactly what it was, so, but you would pay, and the idea was if you paid into this prepaid legal services, you were not only investing in their company, but you would have legal representation if you needed it.
Oh.
So it's kind of like prepaying for your lawyer while also being a part of a money-making opportunity. That's why I said I don't know if it's like a pyramid or once, but it was, I mean, a lot of people got into it, but my understanding is that their legal services were not great. That's what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me. That's allegedly. But he was also a devoted member, if not a traditional one, of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, also known as the Mormon Church. The two were instantly attracted to each other, and their connection quickly intensified. Though Alexander lived in Mesa, Arizona, and Arias was based in California, they began a long-distance relationship fueled by frequent phone calls, emails, and visits.
I'm so sorry we haven't done it this episode yet, but Mesa, Arizona is where we saw Will Wood.
Yeah, it is.
And there's your honorary Will Wood member.
There's the Will Wood member. We have to have it.
Was it in Mesa? It wasn't Mesa.
It wasn't Mesa. That's
It was
what
a
the
Mesa.
picture was.
Yeah.
Will Wood
You
is
guys have
awesome.
talked about it before.
My favorite.
He's awesome.
We mention him every single episode.
And I said I have to be, and I say I have to be nice. My daughter likes Will Wood.
Yeah, you do have to be nice.
I do have to be nice. I have nothing against Will Wood. I'm
His
not.
show
You
was
know.
really funny, actually.
He's hilarious, dude.
Dude,
And-
you should watch Slouching Towards Branson.
Okay.
Not to like bring up his film or anything.
No,
Like
that's right.
$5 on Patreon for like a whole documentary.
Hey,
Look,
I hope that's us someday.
Same.
same.
Despite Alexander's religious commitment to chastity before marriage, their relationship became incredibly sexual very quickly, and both partners later described their encounters as passionate and a bit conflicted. Arias converted to Mormonism to be closer to Alexander, but the couple continued to struggle with the disconnect between their sexual behavior and Alexander's faith. Their relationship was tumultuous, marked by jealousy, arguments, and breakups, but they continued to connect and reconnect and break up both emotionally and physically. I also have read that his friends truly disliked her.
Yes.
But, you know, that's kind of how you feel. You know, you've got your buddy's girlfriend who's nuts and she drives him crazy. And he finally goes, I broke up with her. I'm done with her. And then you come back and she's like totally naked in his bed. And you're like, well, that lasted.
I know Pixie and I have known
been
people like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, I've had buddies who were, it's like, dude, really? Her again? And like, yeah.
Straight back into the pit.
Straight back into the pit. Yeah. So Arias' conversion to Mormonism in late 2006 was significant in attempting to win Alexander's approval. Alexander actually baptized her, but this did not resolve their deep-seated relationship issues. Alexander reportedly felt guilty about the sexual aspect of their relationship.
I have a question kind of related to that. So how do Mormons get baptized? What style?
Pretty much the same, and actually it's a closed ritual that you're not allowed to just, you're usually not allowed to go to if you're a non-Mormon. I've actually been to one because, like I said, I was raised by a Mormon family and they invited me. But for the most part, I mean, it's the same as, you know, I was baptized in a non-denominational Christian setting, and it was like the same. It was a pool.
Dunked under the water.
Yeah.
You have to
Okay.
go all the way
Yeah.
through. It's like
It's-
pretty much the same thing.
Because some churches like splash water on you, and some of them,
Right.
you know, there's different kinds. I just had to ask.
And I mean, it's a little different. I had to learn the Lord's Prayer with mine, you know, and that's a pretty common thing. But it's, a white dress. This was a young woman that I saw the baptism of, and she was in a white dress, and they dipped her under the water, and we all had a
They
wonderful
don't do
meal.
dresses anymore if you're
Really?
a woman getting baptized, because the whole thing about, I don't know if it's every baptism or just Mormon baptisms, even if like a strand of your hair comes up, you have to go back under.
Really?
I think
Really?
that's just a Mormon church thing.
Yeah, that's
But-
not a us thing. I think.
But if even like a single strand of your hair comes up, we had done several, like, you know, they go and do, you know, baptisms at the temple, like baptisms
Mhm.
for people who have passed on. And there was a couple of times when I was doing that like my mom would braid my hair so freaking tight before I even like went to go like get dunked, so that we could make sure that like my hair was.
Oh, so you did a stand-in for people who had
Yes,
passed.
yeah, I did it. Quite
Which is a
bit.
very, very Mormon thing. The whole idea of baptizing people after death.
I don't know how I
is-
feel about that now. but
Well, no, I'm just saying I have not known any other Christian religion that does that. I'm not criticizing it at all. I mean, you do what you can do.
It's like, even if like a strand of hair like comes out of the water,
Wow.
they have like witnesses, people watching. They usually have 4 at the temple, and I think for like baptisms at like the church they have 2. And yeah, they don't do dresses anymore because girls used to be in a dress, and if the dress came up, then they would have to baptize her again. So now girls get jumpsuits like the boys do.
Okay. Well, hey, advancing.
When I was baptized, I just wore a swimsuit under a robe.
Right. Yeah.
My dad baptized me, and he kissed me on the cheek in front of the whole church, and I was mad at him.
Oh,
No.
I choked
I was
in the
like-
water, and my dad is sitting there like patting my back like, you good? You good? You good? And I'm like dying, and everybody's just like standing there looking. I'm like,
Well, it's an interesting thing. I always thought, and I've studied this. I've watched.
She is spawn of Satan.
I've watched this case. I've watched documentaries. I've read about this case since it started.
Fascinating.
I watched the news marketing stuff. I've watched her interview with the police, where she like straight up starts singing like church hymns and stuff.
And then when she's doing like,
It's like a handstand. Yep.
Like,
She does wall handstands. She's, it's an interesting case, and she's an interesting person. And I imagine for him, and I've known Mormons who were very, very devout, and I've known Mormons that were they didn't follow the rules. Well, put it that way. And having sex before marriage with your girlfriend is definitely not following the rules. And so the fact that he would baptize her in a Mormon church when he knows that they're having a sexual relationship and that he technically should end that relationship and go through Mormon retraining in order to rededicate himself.
Because there's like rehab. But
it's a
like,
rededication. You basically go through and you learn why, and you go through. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that's their process. And so it's an interesting thing. And so I can see why he felt a lot of guilt about the sexual aspect of the relationship, especially when she's converting and he knows that she's not going to follow the rules.
Oh, yeah.
And he's baptizing her, even though he's not following the rules. I imagine that was really hard on him, but at the same time, he was probably trying to justify their relationship in his brain.
Yeah.
But anyways, so this went against religious teachings, but at the same time, Arius became increasingly possessive and insecure, constantly suspecting that Alexander was seeing other women and monitoring his communications, which of course led to the breakup. In 2007, Alexander began distancing himself from Arius. He did date other women, telling his friends that Arius was stalking him, which I think is highly likely. Despite the breakup, the two kept in contact. Arius moved to Mesa, Arizona, in order to be closer to Alexander, but the relationship continued to deteriorate. Alexander's friends warned him about Arius, describing her as obsessive and manipulative. Eventually, Arius returned to California, but the toxic communication cycle persisted.
If they broke up, why did she move to Arizona?
They continued to have sex.
Well, yeah.
I mean, she was trying to get back together. She converted to Mormonism. Like with the friends saying that she was manipulative and stuff, it was all about, look at what I've done for you. Look how much I'm doing. How can you not be with me?
Yeah.
And I imagine it was both exciting and incredibly toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been in highly sexual before. I met my beautiful wife of 20 years. And way before this beautiful young woman named Padge became a part of my life, I was in relationships that were very, very toxic. And, they're weirdly addictive, Anyways, on June 4th, 2008, Jody Arias visited Travis Alexander at his home in Mesa. What happened that day shocked a nation, because Alexander was brutally murdered. It was reported that he was stabbed approximately 27 times. His throat was slit from ear to ear, and he was shot in the head, possibly after his throat had been slit.
This is one of the parts of this whole case that I just cannot get over, is how violent
she was
when she was killing him. Like he was already dead. This is like one of the things that just about serial killers and like killers in general, and like you hear about murders, and it's like this person was already dead, and you're still just going at it.
She just wanted to punish him, man. Like, how dare you not love me? How dare you not need me more than anything? So Arias would initially deny being present, and then would claim that masked intruders were responsible, and finally admitted killing Alexander, but claimed that it was in self-defense.
How is that in self-defense? I'm so sorry. I don't mean to butt in here, but like that's overkill for self-defense.
Massive. Well, it's overkill for murder.
Yeah.
Self-defense is usually bang, 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 and you might empty the clip like we talked about earlier, but you don't stab them 27 times, then slit their throat, and then go get the gun.
Yeah.
And that's not, there is some question as to whether or not that's actually the order of events, but really it's massive overkill. So the investigation uncovered digital camera that had been thrown into Alexander's washing machine, likely in an attempt to break or destroy evidence, but it contained one of the digital cards, which was intact and had photos from the day of the murder. The images included intimate shots of Arias and Alexander. I remember reading that in the trial, they literally had to show like massively pornographic shots of her because they showed all of the images that were on the camera. Mm-hmm. And some of them were like of her backside, like so it also contained a chilling photo which may very well have been the last photo of Alexander alive. It was taken in the shower before his death, and disturbingly, some accidental photographs were taken during and after the murder, showing Alexander's bloodied body and foot, and a foot that was believed to be Arias's.
That picture, though, that she took of him in the shower, like right before she killed him,
it's chilling.
You can see it in his eyes, dude.
Like he knows it's about to be bad. Yeah.
Well, because like at the time, like I don't know, like imagine that though. You're showering and then some like
you've just made love to your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, and then she comes into the bathroom,
probably holding a gun or a knife or
the shower curtain. She's just like, I don't know, man. Like she
wanted to hurt him. She wanted him, and that's all. I mean, to me, the ferocity of her actions.
Exactly, that's what I can't get over. Like to this day.
Oh yeah. So Arias was arrested in July of 2008. Her trial, which began in 2013, was broadcast live and gained international attention. The prosecution depicted Arias as a jealous, manipulative killer, while the defense argued she acted in self-defense. After months of testimony, Arias was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without a possibility of parole. So, what's going on with Jodi now? Because I had an interest in that.
Yeah, same.
This case was a media sensation, spawning documentaries, books. Arias' shifting stories and the chilling nature of the crime have left a lasting impression on the true crime world. More recently, Jodi Arias has remained incarcerated for life without parole in the Arizona State Prison Complex in Perryville. In early 2026, she announced on her Just Jodi Substack blog that has about 700 subscribers that she was seeking a new counsel and that the foundation of her latest legal claim centers on allegations brought by the defense that thousands of files, including images that Arias alleged were child pornography, were deleted from Travis Alexander's computer during a 3-hour window on June 19th, 2009.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, so she claimed in the trial that she walked in and saw him looking at child pornography.
So she stabbed him 20
and
times?
that led to a fight, and that fight led him to threaten her or to begin, to make her afraid for her life.
Okay.
And that led to his death.
And then secondly,
that was her defense.
Who's letting her have a blog? Why does she have a blog?
Because the internet's real, and even in prison you have some rights.
That's true.
So, but yeah, no, she's looking for a new counsel. And I think I say here she's like selling art, trying to get money.
Yeah, I do remember that.
She's selling art, and trying to get more money for a new defense because she believes that these pictures were deleted, while the computer was in police custody. Arias and her defense team assert that this information was critical. It connects to her testimony, in which she claimed, without evidence, that Alexander was viewing illicit material, and this led to the conflict, and this will basically show that she was not lying about her defense, and that she's alleging that the destruction or tampering of these images constitutes investigative misconduct. So she's trying to basically get her trial thrown out because she claims there was evidence that the defense that she presented existed and that they deleted it. So I make an argument that legal experts in courts generally find claims like this insufficient to overturn convictions, unless they can prove that the state deliberately destroyed the files and that it was done to hide exculpatory evidence, that it would have changed the trial's outcome. You've got to be able to, you have to have some level of proof that they did it on purpose and that it would have had an effect. Notably, Arias' claim requires accepting that the police would have covered up for someone who was allegedly viewing child pornography, that the cops knew that it was real, that he was doing that, and they deleted it, is what she wants us to believe. Courts usually find such allegations insufficient to overturn a conviction without proof, as I said, that the material is intentionally destroyed and that it was important to the defense. And we've got to remember that even if true, that would somehow justify murder. That if he was looking at these illicit photos, that somehow it would make it okay, or that somehow, she's basically not saying that she would have won the case even if those images had existed. She's just saying the fact that the images were deleted is investigative misconduct, so her conviction should be tossed. So inside prison, Arias has been reassigned to medium to low security. She works in a library, aiding and helping with music programs. She also sells paintings online, with the proceeds reportedly funding her ongoing legal efforts. The Department of Corrections allows her to sell her art because it does not depict her crimes. So, say what you will. I mean, I thought that the law was that you couldn't make money in prison. I thought you couldn't, but I think it's just
Someone
on
sold
your...
a book on their murders once and got a whole bunch of money in prison.
I think... Well, and that happens. That I believe the case you're talking about is the reason why the law now exists, that you can't make money off of your crimes. I think that's the thing. You can't make money off your crimes, but she can paint, whatever she wants to paint as long as it's not depicting her crime and sell it. And, people can get a killer's original art. I mean, heck, people still try to find Hitler's original paintings because people have these horrible...
My struggles are not enough.
My struggles. We have a joke in my family because Hitler's book was called Mein Kampf, which is in English means my struggles, and we just find that to be like my struggles. So yeah. So I mean, it's an interesting case. I don't believe the police would have covered up if he had been a child pornographer.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they would have covered that up. I don't know, even if the person that you kill is a horrible person, it doesn't make it okay to stab them 27 times, shoot them in the head, and slit their throat.
Yeah.
So I don't know that she still wouldn't have gone to prison for the rest of her life. I do have a question as to whether or not it would have truly impacted the case. I guess it could have made the jury might have believed that he was attacking her. But I think the viciousness of her actions possibly would have still had her convicted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you show the viciousness, you show the body and what she did to it. I don't know. Juries have trouble with stuff like that and usually want to punish the person responsible. So that is the case of Jodi Arias. And I basically did that. There's a lot more that goes into that case, but I wanted to do kind of an overview and an update that Jodi is, and I mean, it's not a shock. Isn't every murder basically got a reason why their case was, it wasn't fair and I shouldn't be in prison. It seems like everybody's trying to find their way out. Nobody likes it in prison, nor should they.
You're not supposed to, yeah.
You're not supposed to. Well, but anyways, so that is Jodi Arias, the convicted boyfriend killer. If you're having trouble in a relationship, may I suggest breaking up and going your own way?
Leave.
Yeah, just leave. And we've talked about this before. You can just leave. You don't have to murder somebody. Well, what a night. Thank you, Padge, for joining us and bringing your voice to the hearth. Thanks to Ginger and Pixie, as always, for keeping things odd and off-putting.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Sorry my story was so long, I tried.
The off-putting part was me.
I just had so much information, guys.
Yep.
So much to
You look like information.
When I research, I research.
You research, yeah. Well, most of all, thanks to all of you, our dear listeners, for pulling up a chair at the Arkan's Hearth tonight.
Keep coming back.
Remember that the hearth is always warm and the stories will hopefully never end, please. Listen to us and tell your friends so we never have to stop.
Oh, when you said please, I thought you were like, hopefully the stories will never end. Please keep killing people.
No.
That's how I interpret it.
You know,
Who's going?
I am not saying please keep killing people. I assume that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
I just hope that people want us to tell the stories.
Should we make it a competition and see if more cities can beat out other cities for listeners?
Oh, my Lord. Yeah. We can
Right
do
now,
something.
Farmington's in the lead, obviously, because that's where we're from.
Because we're right here.
But second place is Albuquerque, which, again, pretty close to us. Phoenix is actually third place. Keep coming back.
Again, no hate for Albuquerque. I actually enjoy Albuquerque. I'm sorry so many people have died there. We have to
Yeah,
tell
I
stories.
apologize. I'm sorry. I actually have so much fun when I go to Albuquerque.
It's interesting because it's not that there is so many more murders. It's like I said, they had 15 murders this year. We had 11.
It's just a big population there. Like,
But the murders are more interesting.
Yeah.
You've got craziness going on. But anyway, so.
It's not Albuquerque, it's Albuquerque.
Albuquerque? So thank you, everybody. And until next time, stay curious and stay safe.
Okay, bye.
And bye.
Good night.
I gotta pee.
Good night, everyone.